What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys because it's time to talk Yu-Gi-Oh! That's right, it's time to talk Yu-Gi-Oh! And just a few days before the official TCG Forbidden Limited list goes into effect, I wanted to talk about the one particular Eclipse spell that is going to be catching a lot of players' eyes. Primarily, if your deck runs monsters who have the effects of this card's name is becomes this card's name on the field or in the graveyard, or this card's name is always treated as this card. And that is the symbol of heritage. Along with symbol of heritage, I didn't want to miss out on talking about this Eclipse spell, Phalanx Pike, which I don't know if I've ever done a video on Phalanx Pike, and if I haven't, I'm definitely doing one now, because we're going to get a 2-for-1 combo when we talk about Phalanx Pike in the symbol of heritage. Two very unique spells, but two very unique spells that work great with each other. And it's funny enough that a lot of people may or may not have uh, what is it that really don't get like how to really I don't sorry I'm blanking, but Phalanx Pike and Symbol of Heritage are probably two unique cards that ironically enough work really well together and could potentially see some play as well in particular decks. Now, we gotta do some history lessons on both of these cards. And, I guess I'm gonna start off, of course, by reading off the effects of these cards. So Symbol of Heritage is an Eclipse spell. This effect reads uh, you only activate while there are three monsters in the graveyard that share the same name. You can select one of those monsters and special summon it and equip this card to it. If this card is destroyed, you destroy the equipped monster. While next to it is Phalanx Pike. An equipped monster will gain 900 attack for each monster in either graveyard that has the same name as it does. Now, when these two cards arrived, Phalanx Pike came out in Tactical Evolution, and Symbol of Heritage came out in um, Shadows of Infinity. These are very old school Yu-Gi-Oh sets. These are like GX era Yu-Gi-Oh sets. This is a prime startup to the GX era of Yu-Gi-Oh sets. And the funny thing about both of these sets, about both of these cards is I have used both of these cards before in Harpies, which primarily most of this is going to be related to Harpie. So if you're a Harpie player and you're asking about my opinions on Symbol of Heritage, definitely stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about the Symbol of Heritage as well as Phalanx Pike, which I have nothing negative to say about either of these cards, to be very honest. One thing about both of these cards is that they're Eclipse spells, and the Eclipse spells in the Yu-Gi-Oh series unfortunately fall to the fact that while they're on field, they're going to get hit by back row removal cards. And unless you have ways to protect these cards, they're going to be susceptible to MST, Harpie's Feather Duster, Twin Twister, and Cosmic Cyclone, which are the most popular back row removal cards in terms of generic back row removal cards that are out in the current game. There are cards like Storm, Heavy Storm Duster that are also equivalent to this as well, and a lot of other back row cards. I mean, even Imperial Order is a thing because I've just remembered Imperial Order exists for a reason. So yeah, you're gonna be seeing a lot of stuff with cards to still negate spells and traps. However, there are going to be people who are going to be playing with Symbols of Heritage and playing with Phalanx Pike because these are cards that a lot of players are going to try to take advantage of for combo or for finishing off their opponent. Now, some brief history with Symbols. Again, Symbols Heritage, um, Symbols Heritage is basically a retrain of Premature Burial. Premature Burial itself was one of the first Eclipse spells in the Yu-Gi-Oh series to be able to special summon a monster. And although you paid 800 life points to summon that monster, it took a while for this card in particular to get forbidden. I think it was September of 2009 where this card finally hit the forbidden section of the game. And this is after a while because Premature Burial is really good. It's really good. Its effect is that you pay 100 life points, you target one monster your opponent in your graveyard, sorry, not your opponent's graveyard, in your graveyard. And then you special summon that monster in attack position, and you put this card to it. If this card is destroyed, you destroy the monster. There's a retrain of it called Autonomous Action Unit, which is I think you paid 15. Hold on, we're gonna actually break sequences in this video. We're gonna look up tournament. No, we're just gonna look up liquid spells. What am I doing? Monster. No spells equipped, and it should show up. Hold on, we're gonna do this alphabetically by name. Right here, current amplifier. There you go. So Timeless Action Unit, which is the only other retrain, was one of many retrains, I'm sorry, of cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh series. This is basically premature burial, but you're snatching your opponent's monsters instead of your own. And you say something in monster attack position, and then just like Prima, if it left the field, this card. If this card needs field, that monster needs field. However, you pay almost twice as double the amount of points for automatic action unit, or automatic anonymous action unit. I'm sorry, I get this name. Ugh, words are weird. So double AU is not like Prima, where double AU, you paid almost double the points that you would have paid for Prima. Yeah, I'm going to be using acronyms at this point. Prima itself was still around when Reborn got banned, and I know a lot of people who play Reborn. Um, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not gonna hate on Reborn either because Reborn's really, really good. Reborn is still around. Most decks don't play Reborn unless you're like just really trying to generate your combo pieces. Which, to be fair, if you're trying to if you're going to be playing a combo deck and you're going to be playing a card like Symbols of Heritage, uh, my word of advice is definitely please make sure you're going to have the monsters to help support this. And I'm not calling this card bad at all. I'm going to be calling it a very situational quick spell because if I'm not mistaken, and I know for a fact people are definitely going to combine. We talk about Living Fossil because Living Fossil is still around. But remember, Living Fossil and them are all just retrains of Prima. And Prima is still going to be relatively seen. I mean, not Prima seen play, but Living Fossil is still going to see some play. And one of his biggest plays is that it's going to bring back monsters, just like Symbols, except for Symbols has to work with monsters that share the same name, and Living Fossil didn't. Living Fossil just picks up a level 4 or lower monster, which almost every deck that I know right now in the game is running a level 4 or lower monster and can have some synergy with it. The problem is that monster's effect is going to be negated. Although it's going to gain 1,000 attack and defense, it's going to have its effects negated. Symbol of Heritage doesn't negate the monster's effect. There's the that is a good resemblance to Prima, where Prima didn't negate effects either, nor did Monster Reborn, or Autonomous Action Unit. So, yeah, you're going to see a lot of that. There's also the other retrain of Prima, which is DDR, Different Dimension Reincarnation, which also still sees some play because of the fact that it targets monsters that are banished, which um, like I said, you have to work with banished monsters, and that was also the thing. Unlike Fossil and them, I think Fossil banishes whatever leaves the field. Yeah, they'll put their monster as banished when it leaves the field, even if this card leaves the field. And then Symbols of Heritage will basically just bring that monster back with no relegations to it. So yeah, like I said, this is going to be a very seen and used card. Now, what decks will most likely see play in it? That will depend on who. Oh, that's Phalanx Pike. That will depend on who's going to actually play it because there are Harpie players who said they would be giving, Symbols of Heritage a try. Why? Because every monster in the Harpie archetype that's at least a winged beast is going to treat themselves as is going to have their name become Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard. In addition to that, remember, we still have the extra deck monsters. We have all of the main deck monsters. And remember, Harpie Lady still has monsters that are always treated as Harpie Lady. So this would give even more boost to Harpie Lady 1 and those who play Cyber Harpie Lady. I don't care occasion that someone plays Harpie Lady 2 or 3, but don't do that. Anyway, the other monster archetype we can talk about is, of course, Cyber Dragon. For the fact that Cyber Dragon himself, in a sense, has a lot of monsters that would love to take advantage of Symbol of Heritage because those monsters are treated as Cyber Dragon while they're on the field in the graveyard. And I believe some of them even have abilities to manipulate level so that you can, exceed into things. There are some of them that I believe have the ability to go get fusion cards or go get cards that specifically list Cyber Dragon in attacks to your hand. So yeah, Cyber Dragon can easily take advantage of Symbol Heritage. And then I cannot forget about the White family. What is the White family? What do they have to do with Symbols of Heritage or Phalanx Pike? Well, they all originate. They all originate from Skull Servant. And Skull Servant, which it, like I said, is this little normal monster. He doesn't do much. However, these guys are all treated as skulls, have the effect of their names become Skull Servant while they're on the field or in the graveyard. And because of that, that just gives them even more boosts to play around with. Especially when this unique monster. This is the king of Skull Servant, who is a retrain of the original Skull Servant. However, he gains attack based on the number of Skull Servant monsters, King of Skull Servant, and Skull Servant monsters in your graveyard um, times 100. And because all of these treat themselves as Skull Servant while they're on the field or in the graveyard, they will definitely give that benefit to Skull Servant. Whether it is, summoning itself for multiple plays or, linking and doing all those crazy shenanigans, they're all basically Skull Servant. Which I am to the point of why these three particular monsters are going to be were the center focus of the video, because these are archetypes that have that focus of, oh, because I'm treated as Skull Servant, Cyber Dragon, or Harpie Lady, additional stuff can be benefit, which is why both of these cards work really well. Not only in decks that survives, but they probably could work well with each other, which is ironic enough. Um, and with that said, I think we can now move on to Phalanx Pike. For this is the benefit of having monsters in graveyard that all share the same name. And Wit itself works really well with the White family to boost up the King of the Skull segment. It works well with Harpies because you can pop it onto monsters like Cyber slash Harpie Lady or Harpie Conductor and just make them powerhouses. Like imagine a powerhouse like Cyber slash Harpie Lady has the ability to bounce stuff back and then swinging at you for the amount of damage she can swing at. Because remember, they're getting 900 attack points for each monster in the graveyard that shares the exact same name as you, whether it's yours or your opponent. Genuinely, some people were actually citing this in mirror matches with Harpies. Um, if they were summoning Cyber Slash, or you were a Harpie player and you had a rare occasion where you actually ran into Harpies, when because Harpies will always be that deck that people will just randomly spam and randomly play because it's still relatively good and it has a lot of good advantages to itself. So yeah, this is why Phalanx Pike could easily take off. Um, Now, in that sense, Cyber Dragon, which I don't think Cyber Dragon would definitely take advantage of Phalanx Pike, but it was something that was also seen on the wiki that, oh yeah, they can take advantage of this. And I'm just like, is there a Cyber Dragon monster that can take advantage of it? I don't really dip into Cyber Dragon. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe there is a Cyber Dragon or two that it can take advantage of Phalanx Pike and help, just be a beat stick. So good on to them if they do find a way to do that. Now, let's go to the big issue of how do you get to these? Because there isn't cards in the archetype that search for your search spells unless they have, like, specific name. Well, we go over to these two cards here. There is Hidden Armory and Armory Call. Two unique spell and trap that will allow you to get equip spells. Armory Call allows you to add an equip spell from your deck to your hand, and then immediately equip it to a monster that is appropriate for the equip. And then you only activate one of it per turn, which is perfectly fine because that would be broken if you do this multiple times with the amount of equip spells in the game. There's also Hidden Armory, where you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard to add one equip spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You get normal summon or accessible summon. You get normal summon or set, I'm sorry, the turn you activate this card. which in most cases, this would probably be in terms of let me get to the quick spell as soon as possible. And if my archetype or my deck has a way to take advantage of not being able to normal summon, which means I'm special summoning out the ass, take advantage of it. Which, at most points, most decks are starting to get that way, where they're able to not really rely on the normal summon or stretch the normal summon to where if they can set up the board before their opponent's turn ends, they will do such. And if they have enough monsters on the field and they don't have to take advantage of a normal summon, they will take advantage of hidden armory. I think in a rare case, it's kind of one of the things with Noble Knights, because Noble Knights are one of the decks I can think of that take advantage of not being able to normal summon, or have monsters that just, plop themselves in the field because they're easy to plop without having other monsters on the field. Now, in regards to Phalanx Pike and to was it Symbols of Heritage, these work really well if the decks have those advantages of special something and not really relying on normal. Which for Harpies it will be a little difficult because um, Chandler and Perfumer do need to be normal summoned, or more so of the advantage of what their normal summon means for their archetype. However, the special summon is definitely going to be more live with cards like Hysteric Party, Alluring Mirror Split, and stuff like that. So you have your workarounds with Hidden Armory. With that in case, you have Armored Call, which is a little better because it doesn't stop you from not special summoning. The only problem, A, it's a trap card, and B, it can only activate once per turn. But we have a card known as Trap Trick, which helps out Hidden Armory, which will allow you to grab the Hidden Armory as soon as possible, and then you can drop your quick spell, being Phalanx Pike. Which, indication point, I have seen videos where they have gone for Trap Trick in the Armory Call and then dropped the Phalanx Pike on a Cyber / Harpie Lady or Harpie Conductor, and then just had those monsters be very boosted up, and your opponent swing at a monster that they basically will have to deal with. Or hope they have some way of getting rid of the quick spell, which that is the fear of playing the game currently, is that there are so many ways of removing back row, which I said earlier in the video. Removing back row is not hard. It's just that you're going to have to find a way to protect your back row if that ever becomes the case. Or you will just have to end the game off of comboing with Phalanx Pike. While, Symbols of Heritage is a whole different plethora of things. It's going to be a combo extender, if anything. How well sufficiently do I think both of these cards will do and what changes they'll have into the game? Um, Probably little to none, unless like I said, the only real device that you'll have with symbols is that it's going to be a combo make. It's going to be a combo extender, and that's really if your deck has monsters that are going to be in the graveyard. They're going to share the same name, and you're able to take advantage of those monsters and set up or extend your setup. While Phalanx Pike is basically just a power boost. That's literally what it is. It is just an old school power boost. And if anything, it's going to only be taken advantage of if you're going for a game. So, yeah, that's just the going for game option. Alright, so I think at a point, I have this video here because I talked basically about both these cards, gave you the whole setup, and I think for the most part, if you know how to play both any of these three archetypes, you definitely can take advantage and find, your extended combos to get things together. So, with that said and done, I am going to wrap up the video here. So, if you guys have anything you'd like to add to the discussion, you definitely can. Leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps out tremendously. Hit the notification bell so you guys move forward when I do upload more content. Description box below lists all of my social media links. If you guys want to, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and stuff, you definitely can. And of course, the Patreon, if you guys want to help out the channel and give a little, it's up to you. No rush or anything like that. So, with all that said, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. HPJ, signing out. Take care.